Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Tilly and today I'm going to be talking you through all of the books I'm excited to read that are coming out between April and June this year. First of all, I think it's worth noting that the dates I've got here are dates I've taken off Goodreads, and that these dates can change, and they do change all of the time. These are just the dates that I've got at time of filming. It's also worth noting that I won't be able to cover absolutely every single book that's going to come out during this time. I'm just noting the ones that I'm particularly interested in, and if you keep seeing me glance down, it's because I'm utilising my phone where I've taken some notes, or I'm going to be reading the synopsis off of Goodreads. I'm also going to shimmy a little bit to the side so that I can put some lovely graphics on the screen to show you these books. First of all on my list, we've got Darker by 4 by June C.L. Tan, which comes out on the 2nd of April, and it's the first book in the Darker by 4 duology. June C.L. Tan also wrote Jade, Fire, Gold, which has been mentioned on BookTube quite a bit, as I believe it was a fairy loop, but it isn't one that I've read. Darker by 4 follows 3 characters. We've got Rui is trying to hone her magic to avenge her mother's death, but her powers accidentally get transferred to Yuren. Rui then makes a bargain with another king, and then we've got Nikai, who is a reaper serving the 4th king of hell, but when his master disappears, the underworld begins to crumble and the human world be next if the king isn't found. I'm a little bit unsure about what this could mean, but I have heard really good things from people that have got the arc, mostly Lauren over at Fiction Tea. I know she absolutely adored this arc when she read it, so I am really excited to give this one a read. I have a feeling it's being featured in a book box subscription, so I'm going to hold out on buying this one, see if I'm right, and then if I am wrong I will probably purchase it to read it. Then also on the 2nd we have Only and Forever by Chloe Leese, which is the 7th and potentially final book in the Bergman Brothers series. Illumicrate have just announced that they're going to be doing a set of this entire series, and I do think I will probably end up purchasing this one because I have no self-control and it just looks absolutely beautiful, and I've heard nothing but good things about this series. If you're unaware, the first book in this series, Only When It's Us, follows Wyler and Ryder, and it sounds a bit like enemies to lovers, as the female protagonist hates Ryder for some reason. However, when they are forced to work together on their final project, they began playing pranks and practical jokes on each other, determined to come out as the victor, and then I believe each book then follows another Bergman brother. Like I said, I've not read the series, but I've heard nothing but good things. In fact, I have Only When It's Us up there on my bookshelf, so I do really need to get to it soon. Also on the 2nd of April we have The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Now this is actually a book that I have now read. In fact, when this video goes up, my spoiler reading vlog should also be live, so if it is I will link it down below in case you are interested. Holly Jackson is also the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, as well as a standalone called 5 Survive. I absolutely adored A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I would highly recommend that if you've never read that before. But The Reappearance of Rachel Price follows Belle, whose mother goes missing when she's 2 years old, and her dad agrees for a documentary to be made about the disappearance. However, whilst that documentary is being made, Rachel actually reappears and is very much alive, and it's kind of that question, you know, what's happened to Rachel, where has she been, and what has she been doing all of this time. Also on the 2nd we have Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew. Kelly Andrew is also the author of The Whispering Dark, which is a Illumicrate book that I got, and it's actually down here somewhere, but I haven't got to it quite yet. However, this one does also sound quite intriguing. Your Blood, My Bones follows Wyatt, who intends to burn her childhood farmhouse to the ground. However, when she looks around it for the final time, she makes a shocking discovery in her basement. Peter, the boy she once considered her best friend, has been strung up by chains and left for dead. Unknown to Wyatt, Peter has suffered hundreds of ritualistic deaths on her family's property and now is semi-immortal. Peter never remains dead for long, but also isn't alive while he's still bound to the farm. There is only one way to break the cycle. He needs to end the Westlot line and kill Wyatt. I think that sounds really intriguing, so I definitely think that will be one that I potentially pick up and read fairly soon. And then on the 4th of April we have The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. This is a debut novel with fake dating, potential close proximity, and the main love interest is an astronaut. I talk about this quite a lot in my April TBR, so if you are interested in hearing more, again, I will leave that down below for you to check out. Then on the 9th of April, we have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This is the same author of the Shadow and Bone series as well as its spin-offs, and also the Alex Stern series, so Ninth House and Hellbent. This one seems completely different because it's set in Madrid, and it follows our main character Louisa, who uses magic to get through her endless days as a kitchen maid. However, when her mistress discovers her magic and demands Louisa use it to better the family's social position, Louisa attracts the interest of Antonio, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king, and he will stop at nothing to win the king's favour. Like I say, it's a very different Leigh Bardugo book to the ones we're probably used to, and it does intrigue me, but I am a little bit worried about the historical fiction setting as it's not really my jam. But I have pre-ordered the Illumicrate edition because, like I said, I really can't help myself. Then on the 9th of April, we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. So Elsie Silver is the author of Chestnut Springs, which is a cowboy romance series which took Bookstagram, BookTube, BookTok by storm. This is the start of a brand new series. Rosie Belmont arrives back into Rose Hill after living in the city and is hired by our main character Ford. Ford desperately tries to keep his hands off Rosie as she is his best friend's little sister, and to make matters even more complicated, a young girl claims Ford is her biological father, so it's kind of got that best friend's sister trope, kind of keep your hands off her, as well as that kind of unknown child storyline as well. So it does sound quite intriguing. I don't know whether I want to read Chestnut Springs first and then maybe get to this one, but I just thought I'd put it on your radar in case you've read Chestnut Springs and you really like the series. Then also on the 9th, we have The Prospects by Katie Hoffman. This is on my radar as I believe it might be part of a book box subscription. So the Goodreads synopsis says, the pressure cooker of minor league baseball leads to major chemistry in this exhilarating, sexy and triumphant rivals to lovers debut romance. And it also says that it has trans reputation and is LGBT+. So yeah, I haven't read a ton of sports romance. Read Icebreaker, which is gonna kind of feature a little bit later, spoiler alert, but I am still really intrigued and it does look quite cute. Then on the 11th of April, we have Burning Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber. This is the third book in the Twin Crowns series. So I heard Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber talk about the Twin Crowns series at YALC and I thought it sounded really interesting. So I have picked up the first 2 books in the series and no doubt I will probably pick up this one too. I am yet to read the series, but I'm hoping I can get to it fairly soon. Twin Crowns follows 2 sisters, one who was raised in the castle and another by witches. The Waterstone synopsis says 2 sisters, 1 throne, who will ultimately rise to power and wear the crown. I don't think I want to find out any more information other than that. I kind of want to go into it a bit blind, but it does sound really, really interesting. Then also on the 11th, we've got Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is book 1.5 in the Powerless trilogy. The first book in this series is set in a world where the king banishes anyone who cannot wield magic. Our main character therefore pretends she is a psychic, but when she saves one of the princes, she gets thrown into the purging trials. So this is a brutal competition to showcase powers. However, as our main character doesn't have any powers, it is going to be quite interesting. Again, not a series I've read. I do have the first book on my physical TBR, so I again would like to get to it soon and probably before I pick this one up, but I just thought I'd let you know it is on my radar. Then on the 16th of April, we've got To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X Chang. This is on my radar as again it's suspected to be in a book box subscription. So this is a debut novel and the Goodreads synopsis says, she has power over death, he has power over her. When 2 enemies strike a dangerous bargain, will they end a war or ignite one? When Ruing's gift is discovered by an enemy prince, he offers her an impossible deal. If she becomes his private assassin and eliminates his political rivals, whose death he swears would be for the good of both their worlds, and would protect her people from further brutalization, her family will never starve or suffer harm again. But to accept this bargain, she must use the powers she has always feared, powers that will shave years off her own existence. I do think it sounds quite interesting. I do think it sounds a little bit like standard YA, but you never know, maybe it will surprise me. If it is coming in a book box subscription, I definitely will read it as part of my challenge. I will try and vlog that for you so that you can hear my thoughts. Then on the 19th of April, we have The Throne of Honour and Blood by J. Bree. This is the second book in the Mortal Fate series. Oh my god, the covers of these and all of J. Bree's books are absolutely beautiful. J. Bree also writes the Bonds That That Tie series, and I've heard really good things about those, and I know they're really popular. I've not read either of these series yet, but as I said, it is on my radar. The first book within the Mortal Fate series, The Crown of Oaths and Curses, the synopsis for that on Goodreads reads, "I devoted my life to a king who was not my own. On the road to unique honour and glory, I lost everything. Now in a world ravaged by the whims of those who rule, I must turn my back on a lifetime of friendships and loyalties to face my own fate. The Savage Prince. Heir to the high fae throne of the Southern Lands, he is known for his brutality and cold heart. But with the kingdom on the brink of ruin, I have no choice but to seek him out. The war between the fae and the witches rages, and there's no end in sight. My destiny is clear. Help the prince defeat his enemies before it's too late. One small problem. I am Rooksbane Eveningstar, the favoured child returned, a witch of the woods, the greatest enemy of my fate's blessed mates." I do think it sounds really interesting. It is giving me the Cruel Prince vibes, which I didn't really enjoy, so hopefully I enjoy this one more. But as I've heard really good things about Jaybury, I would quite like to pick this one up. Then on the 23rd of April, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. So Emily Henry is a well-known romance author with lots of different romance books, including Happy Place, Beach Read, Book Lovers. Funny Story follows Daphne, whose fiance leaves her for his childhood best friend Petra. Daphne then starts a new story in Waning Bay, Michigan, away from her friends and family, but has her dream job as a children's librarian and becomes roommates with Petra's ex, Miles. Daphne and Miles mainly avoid each other until one day when they are drowning their sorrows, they hatch a plan. Fake date during the summer and post their adventures on social media. I do think it sounds really, really interesting. I love the fake dating trope, and yeah, I'm really, really excited to give this one a read. Then also on the 23rd of April, we have Song of the Six Realms by Judy I. Lin. This is also on my radar as it's suspected to be in a book box subscription. Judy I. Lin is also the author of the Book of Tea duology, so that's a magic steeped in poison and a venom dark and sweet. Song of the Six Realms follows our main character, who is an orphaned musician who has been raised by her uncle. She cannot remember much before she entered the House of Following Water, and when her uncle is suddenly killed during a bandit attack, she is devastated to lose her last connection outside of the house. One night she is unexpectedly called to the garden to put on a performance for the Duke, who makes her an offer. Serve as a musician in residence at his manor for 1 year and he'll set her free. However, our main character questions the Duke's motives after they barely survive an attack by a nightmarish monster and she discovers he has a secret. I do think it sounds really interesting, and if her other books are anything to go by, I'm sure the cover will be absolutely beautiful. I've not read the other books despite me owning them. I do desperately need to get to them because, like I said, they're so beautiful. But yes, also this one does sound quite intriguing. And then lastly, for the April books, on the 25th we have A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Catherall. So this is again a debut novel, and it's the first book in the Sunken Archive series. This has also been picked up by Fairy Loot, who are doing a beautiful edition, which I have pre-ordered. The Goodreads synopsis says, "A beautiful discovery outside the window of her underwater home prompts the reclusive E to begin correspondence with renowned scholar Henry Clell. The letters they share are filled with passion, at first for their mutual interest and then inevitably for each other. Together they uncover a mystery from the unknown depths. Destined to transform the underwater world they equally fear and love. But by no mere coincidence, a sea quake destroys E's home and she and Henry vanish. A year later, E's sister Sophie and Henry's brother Viren are left to solve the mystery of their siblings' disappearance with the letters, sketches and field notes left behind. As they uncover the wondrous love their siblings shared, Sophie and Viren learn the key to their disappearance and what it could mean for life as they know it." Ooh, it does sound really, really interesting, and it's kind of giving me mystery vibes. And also the sunken depths of the sea mildly terrify me because they're just so vast and unknown. Really, really intrigued by this one. And as I said, the Fairy Loot edition is absolutely beautiful, so I just couldn't help myself but pre-order it. And I'm definitely trying to hold myself accountable this year and read the Fairy Loot and Illumicrate editions that I get. Then moving on to May, on the 7th of May, we have Lore Olympus Volume 6 by Rachel Smythe. This is the 6th book in the Lore Olympus series, which is a graphic novel retelling of the Hades and Persephone story, but set within a modern setting and with beautiful artwork, and all of the different gods are a different colour. So for example, Hades is blue and Persephone is pink. I've read the first 2 volumes, which I did really enjoy, and I do intend to continue the series, so I will hopefully get to volume 6 at some point, and I have started to order the beautiful Illumicrate editions with the lovely ombre edges. Then on the 14th of May we have The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This again is on my radar because it's suspected to be in a book box. However, the Goodreads synopsis says, "The Honey Witch of Innisfree can never find true love. That is her curse to bear. But when a young woman who doesn't believe in magic arrives on her island, sparks fly in this deliciously sweet debut novel of magic, hope and love overcoming all." I do think it It sounds really cute and whimsical, and the cover of this just gives me all of those cottagecore vibes, and I'm really excited to give this one a read. Then on the 14th of May we have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren are two popular romance authors who also wrote The Soulmate Equation, The True Love Experiment, amongst other romance books. According to the Goodreads synopsis for this one, the romance between the buttoned-up heir of a grocery chain and his free-spirited artist ex as they fake their relationship in order to receive a massive inheritance. I'm really intrigued by this one as it's got fake dating and it's also giving me the Inheritance Games vibes, so yeah, really intrigued. Then on the 21st of May we have Goddest of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. Again, this is on my radar as it's suspected to be in a book box. The Goodreads synopsis for this one says, a mother and son, a goddess and a prince, a river whose course would change the fate of the world. Ganga, joyful goddess of the river, serves as a caretaker to the mischievous godlings who roam her banks. But when their antics incur the wrath of a powerful sage, Ganga is cursed to become mortal, bound to her human form until she fulfills the obligations of the curse. Though she knows nothing of mortal life, Ganga weds King Shangtu and becomes a queen, determined to regain her freedom no matter the cost. But in a cruel turn of fate, just as she is freed of her binding, she is forced to leave her infant son behind. Her son, Prince Devarata, I think that's how I pronounce that, unwittingly carries the legacy of Ganga's curse. And when he makes an oath that he will never claim his father's throne, he sets in motion a change of events that will end in a terrible and tragic war. As the years unfold, Ganga and Devarata are drawn together again and again, each convolutes another step on a path that has been written in the stars. In this deeply moving and masterful tale of duty, destiny, and the unwavering bond between mother and son. I do think it sounds really interesting. As I said, I will be getting to this if it is part of a book box subscription, so I will definitely let you know my thoughts in either my wrap-ups or potentially a vlog. Then on the 28th of May we have Evocation by S.T. Gibson, which is a book I'm really excited about, mainly because the cover just looks absolutely beautiful. This is the same author of A Diary of Blood and An Education of Malice, both of which I haven't got to just yet, but the Goodreads synopsis for this one says, as a teen, David Arastakov, I think that's how I'm pronouncing his name, was a psychic prodigy, operating under the shadow of his oppressive occultist father. Now, years after his father's death and rapidly approaching his 30th birthday, he is content with the high-powered life he's curated as a Boston attorney, moonlighting as a powerful medium for his secret society. But with power comes price, and the devil has come to collect on an ancestral deal. David's days are numbered and death looms at his door. Reluctantly, he reaches out to the only person he's ever trusted, his ex-boyfriend and secret society rival Reese, for help. However, the only way to get to Reese is through his wife Moira. Thrust into each other's care, emotions once buried deep resurface, and the trio race to figure out their feelings for one another before the devil steals David away for good. I do think this sounds really good, and I'm so excited to read this. But again, I have heard that this is going to be part of a book box, so I'm going to have to wait for that to arrive in order to be able to read it. But yes, as I said, really excited to give this a go. Then on the 28th, we've got Twelfth Night by Alexine Farrell Fulmuth. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that. This is actually the author Olivia Blake. I believe this is actually her real name. I think Olivia Blake is her pen name. I read her other YA middle grade one about robotics and I actually really enjoyed it, so I'm a little bit intrigued by this one. So the synopsis on Goodreads says, Viola Reyes is annoyed. Her painstakingly crafted tabletop game campaign was shot down. Her best friend is suggesting she try being more likeable, and school running back Jack Orizno is the most lackadaisical, I've no idea what that word is, student body president she's ever seen, which makes her job as VP that much harder. V's favourite escape from the world is the MMORPG 12th Night, but online spaces aren't exactly kind to girls like her. Girls who are extremely competent and have the swagger to prove it. So V creates a masculine alter ego, choosing to play as a knight named Ceresio, to create a safe haven for herself. But when a football injury leads Jack Orizno to the world of 12th Night, V is alarmed to discover that their online alter egos, Ceresio and Duke Orizno, are surprisingly well matched. As the long nights of gameplay turn into discussions about life and love, V and Jack soon realise that they've become more than just weapon-wielding characters in an online game. But V has been concealing her true identity from Jack, and Jack might just be falling for her offline. Again, I do think this sounds really good. I love the gaming aspect of it. I think that sounds really cool, so I am intrigued, and I think this is one that I will probably pick up. I did pick up the last one, In the Works, which is a bookshop here in the UK which sells discounted books, so I'm really hoping I might be able to find this one in there. there. Then on the 28th, we've also got The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott, which is another book which is suspected to be in a book box. And it's also the first book in the Empriel series. So as an Empriel, Nicole has the ability to kill any deadly supernatural. But if her power ever awakened, the Wake, the organisation that governs supernatural, would force her to be their loyal huntress, or kill her like they did her mother. To stay safe, Nicole hides in a small university town, convinced the mythological art collection at a local manor contains a final message from her mother. But before she can study it, Kyan McCarter, the Wake's most skilled Empriel, arrives on his own hunt. When they discover his prey has stolen a painting for Leverett, they're forced to work together. As the creature threatens to expose Nicole's powers, her tenuous alliance with Kyan threatens her heart. If her true identity is revealed, Kyan will hunt her next. No one disobeys the Wake and survives, especially when the art they're seeking unveils a conspiracy that would change the lives of creatures and humans forever. But Nicole may only be able to resist one, her wicked impulses, or a love that could reprint their world. And after a life of hiding her true nature, who could resist the temptation of magic? I do actually think that sounds really, really interesting and really cool. So yeah, really excited for that one as well. And then lastly for May, we have The Only Light Left Burning by Eric J. Brown, which is the second book in the All That's Left in the World series. I actually met Eric at YAWC and he was so lovely and so funny, and I really know that I need to get to his books soon. All That's Left in the World is a dystopian queer YA adventure. When Andrew stumbles upon Jamie's house, he's injured, starved, and has nothing left to lose. A deadly pathogen has killed off most of the world's population, including everyone both boys have ever loved. And if this new world has taught them anything, it's to be scared of what other desperate people will do. So why does it seem so easy for them to trust each other? After danger breaches their shelter, they flee south in search of civilization. But something isn't adding up about Andrew's story, and it could cost them everything. And Jamie has a secret too. He's starting to feel something more than friendship for Andrew, adding another layer of fear and confusion to an already tumultuous journey. The road ahead of them is long, and to survive they'll have to shed their secrets, face the consequences of their actions, and find the courage to fight for the future they desire. Only one thing feels certain: all that's left in the world is the undeniable pull they have towards each other. I do think that sounds really, really fun and really interesting. Definitely different from a lot of other books that I've read, but yeah, really, really excited, and I'd like to get to that one fairly soon. Then on June the 4th, we have Daydream by Hannah Grace, which is another one of my most anticipated books of the year. So this is the third book in the Maple Hill series. So the first book was Icebreaker, and then we had Wildfire. Both I really did actually quite enjoy, so like I said, looking forward to this third one. Fairy Loot have also announced that they're doing editions of Icebreaker and Wildfire, so I'm really hoping that they also do an edition of Daydream so that I can have them all matching. And I know Daydream also follows Henry, who was one of my favourite characters in Icebreaker, so I'm really, really excited. So in terms of the synopsis for this one, when procrastination lands him in a difficult class with his least favourite professor, Henry Turner knows he's going to have to work extra hard to survive his junior year of college. And now with his new role as ice hockey captain, which he didn't even want, Henry absolutely cannot fail. Enter Hallie Jacobs, a fellow junior who finds herself befriended by Henry when he accidentally crashes her book club. Oh my god, I love it already. Hallie may not have the romantic pursuits of her favourite fictional characters, but she's an academic superstar, and when she hears about Henry's projects with his class reading material, she offers to help. But being a private tutor isn't exactly ideal, given her own studies, job, and the novel she's trying to write. New experiences are the key to beating her writer's block though, and Henry's promising to be the one to give them to her. They just need to stick to the rulebook. Oh, and not fall in love. Oh my god, it sounds amazing. I'm so excited for this one. Like I said, I love Henry. The fact it's got like a book club and a bookish person, I'm so excited, and yes, cannot wait for 4th of June. Also on 4th of June, we have Hearts That Cut by Kika Hatsupulu. So this is the second book in the Threads That Bind series. So I got the first book as part of my Fairy Loot subscription. I haven't got to it yet, but it does sound really interesting. So the synopsis for Threads That Bind is: descendants of the Fates are always born in threes, one to weave, one to draw, and one to cut the threads that connect people to the things they love and to life itself. The Aura sisters are no exception. Io, the youngest, uses her fate-born abilities as a private investigator in the half-sunken city of Alante. But her latest job leads her to a horrific discovery. Someone is abducting women, maiming their life threads, and setting the resulting wraiths loose in the city to kill. To find the culprit, she must work alongside Edai Runa, the right hand of the infamous Mob Queen, and the boy with whom she shares a rare fate thread linking them as soulmates before they've even met. But the investigation turns personal when Io's estranged older sister turns up on the arm of her best suspect. Amid unveiled secrets from her past and her growing feelings for Edai, Io must follow clues from the city's darkest corners and unearth a conspiracy that involves some of the city's most powerful players, before destruction comes to her own doorstep. Again, that sounds so interesting. The Fates element is giving me Greek mythology inspiration, and yeah, really excited to give this one a go, as I am with all of these, otherwise they wouldn't be on my list. But yes, really need to make that a priority so that I can read the second book. Then on the 11th, we've got Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood is the author of The Love Hypothesis, as well as other STEM romances. I've read all of her books and enjoyed all of them. I always tend to get the Illumicrate versions because again, they're just so beautiful and I can't help myself. The synopsis for Not in Love is Rue Seibert might not have it all, but she has enough. A few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer at Kiln, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant and hard-fought, until a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive frontman threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Eli Kilgore and his business partners want Kiln. Period. Eli has his own reasons for pushing the deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants, with one burning exception: the woman he can't stop thinking about, the woman who's off limits to him. Torn between loyalty and an undeniable attraction, Rue and Eli throw caution out the lab and the boardroom windows. Their affair is secret, no strings attached, and has a built-in deadline, the day one of their companies prevail. But the heart is risky business, one that plays for keeps. I do think this one sounds really interesting and slightly different from the other Ali Hazelwood books, which is really good news because there was a period where I felt that they were feeling quite similar, so I'm really excited to hear that this one is also branching out a little bit. Then on the 20th we have The Curse of Sins by Kate Dramis. This is the second book in the Curse of Saints series. So Fairly have now announced that they're going to be doing a matching edition to match their edition of The Curse of Saints, so I will definitely be pre-ordering that so that my editions can match. The synopsis for The Curse of Saints: as a spy master to the Queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the Queen's enforcer and Aya's bitter rival. When rumours of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate. But when Aya's power acts beyond her god's given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the danger that will follow. I have heard really good things about the first book and I think a lot of people have enjoyed it. I really hope that I can get to it fairly soon so that I'm well prepared for the second book coming out. I'm not sure if it's a series or a duology, but yes, another one that is on my radar. Then on the 25th we have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This year I've read both The 7 Year Slip and The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston and absolutely loved both of them, so she's now definitely an auto-buy author for me. So the synopsis of the new one: Eileen Merriweather loves to get lost in a good happily ever after, the fictional kind anyway, because at least imaginary men don't leave you at the altar. She feels safe in a book, at home, which might be why she's so set on going to her annual book club retreat this year. She needs good friends, cheap wine and grand romantic gestures no matter what. But when her car unexpectedly breaks down on the way, she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that feels like it's right out of a novel, because it is. This place can't be real, and yet she's here, in Elorunton, the town of her favourite romance series, where the candy store's honey taffy is always sweet, the local bar's burgers are always a little burnt, and rain always comes in the afternoon. It feels like home. It's perfect and perfectly frozen, trapped in the late author's last unfinished story. Elsie is sure that's why she must be here, to help bring the town to its storybook ending. Except there's a character in this town that she can't place. A grumpy bookstore owner with mint green eyes, an irritatingly sexy mouth and impeccable taste in novels, and he does not want her finishing this book, which is a problem because Elsie is beginning to think the town's happily ever after might be intertwined with her own. Oh my god, that sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, can you imagine being thrown into one of your favourite book series? I think that's every book lover's dream, so yeah, really excited for that to come out, and I'm definitely going to be reading it as soon as I have it in my hands. And then the last book on this list also comes out on the 25th, which is Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi, and this is the third book in the Legacy of Orisha series, which is a series that I've not read yet, despite owning all three and they being on my TBR, so I do desperately need to get to them soon. The synopsis of the first book is: Zeli Adebola remembers when the soil of Orisha hummed with magic. Burners ignited flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zeli's Seeley's Reaper mother summoned forth souls, but everything changed the night magic disappeared. Under the orders of a ruthless king, Magi were killed, leaving Seeley without a mother and her people without hope. Now Seeley has one chance to bring back magic and strike against the monarchy. With the help of a rogue princess, Seeley must outwit and outrun the crown prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks on Orisha, where snow leopards prowl and vengeful spirits wait in the waters. Yet the greatest danger might be Seeley herself, as she struggles to control her powers and her growing feelings for an enemy. Also, we've got a bit of enemies to lovers. I do think the series sounds really cool. It's one of those booktube favourites from back in the day that I just can't believe I haven't got to till now. As you probably know, too many books, too little time, but I do really want to get to this one soon, especially as there's a new book on the way. There you have it. So those are my most anticipated books between April and June. I do intend to do these quarterly, so I'll probably do another one in July. Did I miss any books off that you're particularly excited about, or are you really excited about any of these? I'd love to fangirl with you in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye guys!